Let's get spooky. This is our Station Boo, where we explore the dark and mysterious corners of the world of horror, and we know that you are dying to listen.
Welcome to the Kooky and Spooky podcast of Earth Station Boo, where we talk all things horror. We have our lovely, lovely host. We have Miss Lisa.
Hi, spooky guys.
We have Karen.
What's up, my horrorholics?
And I am Shannon. Well, welcome to our show. Today, we are going to be talking about one of the summer hits, Longlegs. All right, so let's get spooky.
Hey horrorholics, it's Shannon. Earth Station Boo has just launched its brand new merch store. It's time to get your hands on some killer gear. From our fun logo shirts, cozy hoodies, Let's Get Spooky stickers, and Horrorholics Anonymous totes, there's something for every one of our lovely little ghouls. We offer our spooky designs on many different types of products to fit your desires. But if you happen to see a missed opportunity, just let us know. And unlike most of Stephen King's adaptations, you know what I'm talking about, you won't be disappointed with the quality of the products. Head over to our link tree in our bio, grab your merch, show off your favorite horror podcast, and most of all, let's get spooky.
All right, so Longlegs. It was a really hyped up movie. It was very hard to not see the trailer and the other things that people said about the movie before seeing it. Thankfully, I was able to do that, and I think that did help my personal experience. But it was a pretty hyped up movie. You had Nick Cage in it. You had some other up and coming art individuals, as well as some really great, favorites. So let's go ahead. Let's get everybody's initial thoughts on this film, which was produced by Neon or distributed by Neon. And it was part of the C2 Motion Picture Group, including Oddfellows, who is owned by the man who directed and wrote this movie, Osgood Perkins. But let's get everybody's first initial thoughts on this. Lisa, you want to start us off?
Sure. I actually really liked it. It was very atmospheric. Had a nice little twist. Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage, but I think he did pretty good considering he wasn't as predictable as he usually is.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I felt actually during some of the scenes, I felt literally isolated in the movie theater. It felt like we were just alone. So I definitely say the cinematography and everything just really helped with the whole movie altogether. I loved it.
Yeah. Karen?
First initial thoughts, I was like, okay, this is going to be a great movie for the summer. I managed to avoid most of the trailers so I could get my, opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. You got to see a little bit of Easter eggs here and there, and Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, and some actors that you wouldn't expect to be in a horror movie that was in a horror movie. I think his name is Blair Underwood.
Yeah.
I was like, when I saw his name, I was like, sir, are you in the right movie?
Yeah.
Because normally I see him in
Cop
comedy and cops and stuff like that. Because I remember to this day, I hated this man to this day when he played in Medea's Family Reunion. Because there's always that one actor that you're like, I hate you, but I know you're a good guy. But yeah, I was surprised to see him in the movie. I was like, you don't do horror that much, but okay. I don't hate you as much, but
yeah. He I just pulled up his IMDb, and he's not known really for horror, action, criminal, Like, he was in Rules of Engagement, Deep Impact, like,
Set it off.
yeah, he's not really known for his horror, but what horror he has been in, I think he's done an amazing job.
Yeah.
For me, Long Legs was a really, really good film. It was enjoyable to watch. Even when I had questions, I almost didn't care that I had questions because I was just enjoying the ride. Even the second time around, because I ended up seeing it in the theater twice. The second time I saw it, even knowing like what I know now, like knew going into it, like I already knew the whole story. It was interesting to watch for those little clues leading up to it and seeing the connections before the story sees the connections and everything. But I'm also going to say this. Almost everybody says that Nick Cage was doing Nick Cage. I'm going to say he didn't. He wasn't Nick Cage in this.
No.
He was very much a different individual. And I think he's gotten to a point in his career where he can easily just sit back and just be Nick Cage in every film, and that'd be one thing. But in this film, he didn't do that. He actually like pulled deep to create this character, which we'll talk about that later. But I think overall this was such a well-made film. Now, do I think it hit the hype that everybody gave it? No, definitely not. Like, this is not the scariest movie of the year. I'm sorry.
No.
No, it's not. It's not scary.
So when people were saying that, I'm like, I think you guys are mistaken. Do you guys like horror films? Like, I need to know. Like, when you say scary, are you like somebody who says ketchup is spicy? I need to know these things. like how white is your opinion when it comes to horror? Because this was on the milder side when it comes to like scares, but I do think it is a horror film because it does incite a fear. It does have you draw on that what's going to happen next, and there is an anxiety that you feel for the characters, and you wanted to cheer on the characters. You wanted to cheer on Agent Lee. You wanted them to find him and capture him, and you were rooting for the characters. So overall, I think this is like a pretty decent film. Scariest, no, but pretty decent.
No, not scary.
So
it is decent, but it left me with questions. So
definitely plenty of questions. Definitely plenty of questions. But before we get into all the questions, let's go ahead and get a couple things out of the way, like Nick Cage. So backstory on him and this character, he said it in a few different interviews, is that he actually took inspiration from his mom, who was mentally ill, who wasn't being treated, and that's what he had to grow up with. And so the white makeup was the cold cream she would put on at night. A lot of the sayings, like
cold creams,
yeah, and some of the sayings like the cuckoo and all that, like she would do that to him. Go up to him and go cuckoo and all that kind of stuff. He's like, I channeled my mother for this role, and I think for him that was a cathartic thing, as well as it being kind of interesting. I mean, in previous films, he's channeled his dad, so it's kind of neat that he was able to find a role where he could embody his mother and kind of work through some of the trauma that he had of having to live with a mother like that who wasn't getting the help she needed.
Was it she not getting the help she needed, or was she refusing the help she needed?
It was probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because you have to think he was brought up in an era where you don't talk about the family who had mental health issues. You just kept them in the house away from everybody, especially with them being a Coppola family.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how the Kennedys kept one of the daughters away.
Yeah.
Yep. But I honestly think he did a fantastic job. What do you girls think?
I didn't mind his performance, but when I found out it was like his mother, I was like, damn, is that what you had to live with?
Yeah.
And then,
right? It explains a lot.
It does.
Yeah, it does, actually.
It explains, how bad mental illness can get when it's left untreated.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I can now relate better to, Nicolas Cage, because I have a mother who likes to trauma dump on me every single time I visit her. But yeah, she's from that era where, getting help is a sign of weakness. But she's also a person who's, who's not American. So trying to get help for somebody who's not American, who has that late mindset is kind of...
It's a cultural difference. And
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if I had, to channel my mother in a role like this, it'd probably, I don't know if I'll call it inspiration. I don't know if I call it cathartic, or just, I don't know what I would call it. Because, I mean, as much as I love my mother, I also, I don't hate her. I just kind of, I don't know if I could do that. I mean, he did it really well. I just don't know if I could do that as a person. But I remember
really
those.
Well.
Yeah, I remember that cold cream that my mother put on at night. Kind of reminds me of Mommy Dearest, putting that cold cream on and going to sleep with it. I don't know if I could channel my mother like he did.
And you know what? I honestly do think he showed respect in it. I don't think he was disrespectful in his representation.
I don't think he was disrespectful, but at all. It's just that we all have different loves, type of loves for our mothers. But for someone to channel it like that, I respect it.
Like, I love my mother, but I know that her and we can butt heads like no other.
Yeah.
And part of it is because we are a little too much alike. And part of it's also because we are so drastically different. And our communication styles are different. But the thing is I know for a fact my mom loves me. She doesn't have to show it the way other people do. I know my mom loves me and I love her dearly. But that doesn't mean that it's always rainbow, sunshine, and puppies. So
yeah, right.
Lisa, what about you?
Yeah, I'll have to say that was the way he represented, the whole character with using his mother as an influence was chilling. I mean, you could even see he is like, just the way he shifted a little bit. He wasn't as masculine as he usually is.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think he did a fantastic job. It wasn't Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage. I agree with you girls. I don't care what they said, but I don't know if I could do that with my mother. I love my mother, but we're so vastly different. And my mom does have a lot of mental issues as well. She's afraid of a bunch of stuff. And so it would be kind of hard for me because I've gone out of my way not to be like her. Yeah. And I deal with things. So I don't know if I was to do that like Nick Cage did, what it would do to me personally. But I give him so much respect for doing it. And when he was talking to that little girl, oh my God, in the middle of the snow, that sent chills up my spine. It was creepy.
That was creepy.
That was creepy.
Run, little girl.
Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
I'm going to say this. That was all because of the technical side of it, the way that they framed it, where they made it where there was nothing around. Like they actually had to CGI out people's footprints so that way it would look like the snow was untouched.
Yeah.
And the way that they made sure that it was just to his nose and that you didn't see his face until that very last split second
Yeah.
was what made it chilling. That's what put you on edge. That's what started that anxiety for that little girl and wanting her to make it. It's that.
I don't know if the footprints, for me, if they added footprints in it, that'd be even creepier, really, because that is a person, that is a human.
No.
That
What it was, it would be like footprints, like not where either of those characters were walking.
Oh, okay. You're talking about other footprints.
Yeah, so it'd be like a crew member walking through the snow.
Oh, okay.
Going someplace that they weren't
makes more
supposed
sense.
to.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, more sense.
Yeah. No, that's what I meant by like they had to CGI the footprints. It was like okay, like so when she's coming out from like the back of the house and it's just the little girl. Well, they said in one of the interviews with Osgood, he said, "Oh yeah, we had to completely like edit out this one whole like section because or CGI this one whole section because guys were walking back and forth from the back of the house to the side." And so there was like foot trails all over the place, and it's supposed to be freshly laid snow. Nobody was outside previously, but this little girl's walking, and you can see nothing but like travel prints behind her.
Okay, so, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, so that's what they meant. That's what they meant by they had to CGI out the footprints. Yeah. But technical, I think they did a great job. Like cinematography alone.
Cinematography, yeah.
That was fantastic.
I loved the color tone to it. Like there wasn't a thing technical about the movie that I didn't like. Like I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I was like, they probably could have done that a little bit better. Like literally everything was great.
Yeah.
Even when Nick Cage bashed in his face.
That was terrific. I'm like, man. Woo.
That was beautiful.
Like,
it was beautiful, but
see the nose.
I know. That was just such beautiful practical effects. I was like, yes.
And I think they did a good job with his prosthetics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely gave the way too much Botox and filler.
Mm-hmm.
The puffy filler
the old
face.
creepy guy's back again.
Mm-hmm. that scene cracked me up. I was like, watch out, kid. Because we already knew that was the killer. I'm just like, watch out, kid. He's going to kill you next. Whether you're on the bucket list or not. What else did you guys like about like the technical stuff?
I would have to say the costume work was really on point for the time that they were doing. Sometimes you can have a misstep, with the costuming for time periods. But since it's not that far, I say this and then I think about what was said and I'm like, come on.
It's like how the 80s were only 20 years ago.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, I'm old. Jesus. But I love the costuming. I love the sculpt work on the dolls that were there. Because it took time and love to like hand make those dolls. Because they're not like production dolls that you like to slap together. No, it took love and care to like make these dolls look like little girls.
Right.
And they did look a lot like the little girls that they represented.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
It kind of gave me the feel of Megan without being Megan.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a number of horror films that have like almost like the doll takes over the child thing. And that always like irks me a little bit, or I shouldn't say irks, but it always puts me on edge a little bit. It's like, leave the babies alone. I don't even like kids, but leave them alone.
Yeah. But is it more horrific if the child's in danger or an adult's in danger?
I mean, true. I don't know. I
And
like
then here's
leaving
another
kids out of
there's
it.
another flip of the coin. Is it more horrific if it's an animal in danger or if it's
Now,
a
if it's
child in
an
danger?
animal, I'm willing to
Yeah.
fight. Like,
Yeah, animals.
somebody's getting cut and it ain't me.
Yeah.
I don't care if it is Jason. He's going down.
Jason would be like so confused at that point. It's like,
Yeah, I know,
what
right?
did I do? It's like, you touched an animal.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about the plot and story? What you guys feel about that?
I enjoyed the plot in the story, but it left me with like more questions because I was like, you mean to tell me she had these little powers of observation, quote unquote, but she couldn't really use it throughout the whole movie?
Yeah. Like she could only use it at like certain points.
I have a theory about that.
What is your theory about that?
My theory is that because she was so indoctrinated with Jesus and all that kind of stuff from her mom, that maybe she suppressed it, and only when she was relaxed that it actually flowed out.
But she herself wasn't religious.
Yeah.
Like she even
But
told her mom that she didn't do her prayers. So I don't think she had the religious trauma that would accompany.
maybe not. I don't know. That is just a theory.
If
Because it was like in that high stress situation with her partner.
yeah,
That's when she was like that. But when she was at her mother's house next to the locked door, she didn't get that like vision that there's somebody down there. And I'm like, is it because you're with your mother? You're so close.
It might be
that like she's in like a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be actually opposite of what you were theorizing, where it's like she's in stress, almost like a protective like instinct.
Because even at her home, she kind of has that whole not safe place. You would think your own home would be a safe place, but she was getting.
No,
it looked like her place was like in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
With nobody around to save her.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like that one day. I'm gonna be like the woman in the woods. Like, be like crazy lady that lives in the woods who has bears for pets. Yeah. Go talk to
her. It's like an island. It's like an island. It's like I could be on the water every day. Well, you can tell who's the Floridian in the group. But
I get closer to the mountains.
Yeah, the plot and story, it did leave a lot of questions, which makes me wonder, does Osgood have more up his sleeve when it comes to telling this story? Like, is there going to be like another one where like how Longlegs and or Cobble got started? Like,
that would be kind of cool.
When did he sell his soul to the devil? You know, that kind of thing. Like, that would be kind of cool.
Like, it's like, yeah, how did you get this ability to make these nice, beautiful dolls?
Yeah, like, how do these powers work?
Or maybe he had the beautiful dolls and then he made a deal with the devil and that was an extra.
I don't know.
Maybe he had just some artistic talent.
Yeah.
And then the devil's like, hey, I'll give you some extra powers.
He had the 80s rock glam, like 70s, 80s rock glam look to him. So
that's true.
That is true.
Right.
He played the records backwards.
Which I think they actually used that technique in this film at some point. I think they played music backwards in it.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I think I saw that in an interview. I had fun watching a lot of the interviews. So listeners, I actually like spammed these two lovely ladies when we decided to do this episode. I was like, here you guys go. So every time I watched one, I was like, here, well, check this one out. Here, check this one out.
Which is different from me spamming everybody with like funny reels.
Oh,
It's okay.
trust me.
I'd watch them I'd watch the interviews at work. Everybody's like, "What you watching?" Don't worry about it. I'd be sitting there giggling.
But the powers, we'll get back into this. So the powers,
Yep.
how they work for both Lee and Cobble and the other young lady who ended up killing herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did it work? It's
I
like
mean,
an
didn't like in
intuition.
most of the young girls died, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they were killed by their parents or their dad.
But what happened to their dolls? Did the mom just take them so he could repurpose them?
I don't know. See that we didn't
That's-
answer that.
Yeah, we didn't get an answer for that.
Because only one doll survived and was kept in a barn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe they buried the dolls. Maybe she buried the dolls after they were dead, or hid them. Because
That
it was
could
like,
be it. I mean, that would explain why that doll was in the barn.
mm-hmm.
But then why all the clues on how to find this doll?
She might do that with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason they would look at that one specifically is because the little girl didn't die. She was just in a comatose state.
Mm-hmm.
More of a catatonic state.
Yeah. Catatonic state. So.
And then like when they dug the thing out of her head, she came out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sort of kind of in a way. But
And it had that weird humming noise.
Yeah.
Which was creepy as hell.
Wasn't it? That's one thing I will say. I really loved the sound for this film. Because
Mm-hmm.
you had moments where there was literally none. To moments where it was like that dull hum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To even just like simple footsteps. But yeah, the sound.
Yeah. Primo, man. Primo. It made the atmosphere really.
Exactly.
It made the atmosphere what it's supposed to be made into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, to continue on with this conversation, let's move on to something else that I know that we talked about previously when we were deciding to do this episode. The FBI. What the fuck was going on?
Like, it's okay, seriously, like protocol is like from what I understand, like, okay, your partner gets shot. Don't y'all have radios to be like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, my partner got shot. Man down, going in. What? There was none of that. He gets shot.
None of that.
And she goes in, not informing anybody, just go straight in. I'm like, what if you end up dead?
Exactly.
Movie's ended.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and then the fact that she said he's in there, we need to call backup. And homeboy's like, nah, it's good. We're fine.
Like, how do you know this? I mean, I would question that too. Like, how do you know this?
I would still question, but I'd be like, you're saying it with certainty. Like, let's go ahead and call backup. And then
even if you're saying it with certainty, I'd be like, how do you know? How do you really know?
Right. But the thing is, too, the time period, they didn't take female agents as seriously back then. So he probably just blew her off.
And then they look like a Chad.
He did. And then they make her do this whole random psychic test.
Yeah. Which I would not put it past the FBI for them having a test like that.
It's like, what if I got like all the questions right? What we gonna do then? I mean, just keep me locked up and pull me out.
They're gonna keep you on the payroll.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna make sure you stay on the payroll. Maybe in Area 51 while you're at it.
It's like, you have this unique ability. How long have you had it? Since I was born.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there was a lot of things that just were not procedural.
True.
Like, who takes their subordinate home with them?
I know, right?
To meet the family.
Right?
Like,
which is really weird.
Like after drinking.
Yeah, after drinking,
like don't get me wrong. I've gone out for drinks with my bosses and coworkers, but not like that.
Like I can understand y'all meeting together at some sort of social. Like, this is my wife and this is my child. But
Right.
okay, yeah, you got drunk. She takes you home. She leaves. But it's like, you want to meet the family? What?
Right?
No, I don't want to meet your family, sir. I just want to make sure you get home so I can go home.
And like the wife seemed concerned but not concerned all at the same time. Like her reaction was a little odd. That was a little odd.
And then her with the little girl, I was like,
yeah, why would you leave the very obviously social inept individual
with your child?
Yeah.
I know,
unsupervised.
Right?
And then why you have her come to your birthday party?
I know,
that was
right?
my thing. Like, why did the little girl feel like you should come to my birthday party?
And I'm like,
okay, bizarre.
Okay, you're having a party. Okay, cool. Sure, I'll come.
And I loved how like nobody else was at the party.
Right?
This was a birthday
party.
Nobody else was at the party except for the mom, which WTF with her as well.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, that mother.
And then, the poor, agent that takes, Harper home.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to tell me you're not going to call to make sure or get in contact, say, hey, two of my agents have been missing for a while. They haven't checked in. Could y'all go to her house and make sure she's okay?
Right. They're just.
Because was this like when the 90s? Y'all just don't care about your agents? I mean, I would. I'm like, there's a jungle out there.
Right.
I was like, I need y'all to call me like every hour to make sure you're alive. But sir, this every hour, okay? We have a serial killer on the loose. Y'all working this case. Call me every hour to make sure you're alive.
And as soon as Leah had gotten on the case, it started developing like hotcakes.
Right.
Why would you guys even not go home? At that point, if it's continually moving, you camp out at the office. Just for safety measures. You know,
like, stay here. We have cots, okay? We have cots.
And the federal office has a little bit more security than
your house,
your 90s home. And
I mean, even like
a nun is also not going to come walking up to the federal building to deliver a doll.
Right.
I mean, even with like watching Mindhunter, they had like more procedurals than this movie is. I was like, what's going on? I can't suspend my belief that much when it comes to procedurals. Like when you watch so many true crime, law and order, and any type of procedural cop movie, you just can't. I can't suspend it. I can't do that.
Yep. You're not wrong. Okay,
and
let's go ahead and the mother. Let's go start talking on this mother. So she catches a weird man talking to her daughter. She threatens him with a shotgun. He threatens her back, saying, if you don't let me in now, I'm going to keep coming back. You're not going to like it. So she goes, okay, sounds great. Ends up fighting back at some point to then be tied up. And then suddenly it's like, just don't hurt my daughter. Go ahead. Do whatever you want to do. So he makes a doll of her and then ropes the mom into doing his bidding and delivering the dolls. And even
she used to work as a nurse, so she was able to get these birth dates.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then after she even knows that he's dead, she frees her daughter, but yet she still goes after the boss's daughter.
That has nobody there for her birthday party.
Which is weird.
Exactly. So weird. So why continue?
Okay, number one, if a dude comes into my yard talking to my child and saying, I won't keep coming back, you got to let me in or not, I want to keep coming back. Okay, you're going to get a shotgun to the face.
Exactly.
It's going to be ended right there. I'm going to tell my police.
I live in Florida. It's stand your ground. I'm standing my ground.
I'm going to tell my police, like, this man tried to abduct my child. She's traumatized. He tried to abduct her. So I shot him.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
There you go. Boom.
Boom. End of the movie.
Yeah.
And then she lets
And
him
then-
in. And I'm like, why are you letting this man into your house? You
Yeah.
better fight like a wildcat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's like situations like that where it's like we miss portions of that story, even though they kind of caught you up and kind of like said, hey, look, see, this is how it happened. They didn't
Yeah.
really tell you how it happened. They
Right.
gave you enough for you to feel like you got some information, but not enough to actually answer their fucking questions.
Yes.
And so I honestly, I don't want a sequel or a prequel or anything like that, but I think there almost has to be to
Right.
round out the story. Like maybe start with Cobble and like catch us up on like how he actually got all involved and have it
Exactly.
ending with what he did to the mom
Mm-hmm.
and have that be like the full circle deal.
Yeah.
If that
That
makes
would be
sense.
good.
And they could even do it similarly to how they did this one, where they started in the past, or actually, yeah, they started in the past, but they could do it where they started in the future with him torturing the mom and him explaining how he became what he became while he's torturing her,
Right.
and then go to his beginning and sweep all the way through. Like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it would.
So hey, Osgood, if you want some help writing it
Yep.
out, like hi, we'll help you.
Definitely.
All we ask is that we get to go to the red carpet.
Yeah.
At least
easy.
at least at this moment in time, negotiations are open though.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the mom, she just like, and you can definitely tell that later her is definitely a different person than the original.
Yeah.
Like the mom
Right.
with the little girl and the mom with the adult daughter, that is two different people.
And I really love that actress. I mean, she,
Mhm.
whatever she does is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Alicia Witt.
Yeah. She's just really great.
She
I loved
is.
her in Midnight Mass too. She was fantastic.
She was.
I mean, I hated her. I hated her in Midnight Mass. So if she could make me hate her as a character, she's got something.
Yeah. Yeah, but no,
she's fantastic.
She did a great job, but that, you know, there are so many times where I was like, why didn't Lee shoot her mom or stop her mom?
My thing was like, why didn't you shoot the doll first before the dad went crazy?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, honestly, why didn't she break the doll at the boss's house before he went crazy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why didn't she shoot the doll before he went crazy? I don't understand.
You know, it's just there, especially when she knew that that's all she needed to do in order to save the little girl, in order to save that family. So I won't lie, like I will put the wife's death on Lee.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Because there was no reason she couldn't have saved her. There's no reason at all. She could have broken the doll and saved the entire family.
Right? And then, they would come out of their like hypnotic state and be like, what happened? I was like, well, this is what happened. My mother was his accomplice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn my mom in a heartbeat. Like, you were an accomplice.
Oh yeah. No, I would totally be like, it was her. It was all her.
And she killed an agent. Okay. She killed an agent and kept me locked in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
While she tried to come kill you guys.
Yeah, exactly. But here's a question. What would happen if a family didn't accept the doll?
I know, right?
I want to know what they would have done.
I mean, would Cobble come and like try to like kill
force
them
his way in? Like
you're an old man at this point, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
But like, would they force the doll in on the situation, or would they find like another family who had a birthday on the 14th of a month.
But then that means you have to create another doll that looks like the daughter.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
true.
Well, maybe they lost their power when she came in before she presented the doll, because they invited her in.
But
Didn't
that's
they?
but that's what I'm saying though. Like, what if they didn't invite her in? What if they didn't accept the doll?
Yeah.
Kind of like,
Because
the whole European vampire.
Yeah.
I have to be invited in to come into your house.
Right.
Yeah, no, goodbye. Bloop.
And
Yeah,
honestly, that's
exactly.
actually the lore for a lot of supernatural things. Like even
Yes.
a lot of fae, like there
Mhm.
needs to be an invitation. There needs to be consent, essentially. So that's why I'm like, you know, they kind of mentioned it with like, well, what if the family doesn't go to that church? Well, it's, somebody entered you in and you won. But still, like,
They're like, I don't know anybody that goes to that church though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Goodbye.
And then again, it's a nun. Maybe she's harmless. Maybe she had,
I mean, that's why
the
she
whole
dressed up
nun
like
thing.
that. That's why she dressed up like that. But like, I don't know. Maybe
I don't think,
maybe
for me,
it's my millennial stranger danger bringing up.
for
Me
me, I was
too.
like,
I wouldn't let a nun in my house.
I'm not gonna have a complete stranger in my. I still to this day I stand outside, talk to people.
Mhm.
I'm like, you're not
I
coming
very
to my house.
rarely answer the door if I don't know you.
Right.
Like I have because my mom doesn't speak English. I have to do that. I have to like, hey, what you need? What you want? Oh, you want something? No, we didn't. We didn't enter nothing. We don't know anybody who entered us into nothing. So you could take whatever you have and go back. You could call me
Mhm.
with all the information. I'll come pick it up, but you ain't coming to my house.
Oh,
Right.
no, like even growing up, like we never invited anybody into the house that we didn't already
Same.
know.
Exactly.
Hell, we'll get people who knock at the door. I don't go in and I don't answer it, even if I am home. I mean, I will
That's
look to see who it is, but outside of the cops and I can't think of anybody else, there's no reason for you to be knocking on my door.
right.
Man, but we're with the church. I don't care. You ain't
Yeah,
coming to my house.
That's why I like my ring. I could actually talk through my phone in my ring and say, what do you want?
exactly. Exactly.
And then, like what would happen? Like, either A, she'll go back and let Cobble know because they didn't have cell phones.
Right.
Probably call
Exactly.
him. And
And it's not like he had a pager.
no. I
Right.
mean, even if he had the strength to take on, the father, you people's will to survive
Hmm.
and to surprise people. Like you come into my home, hurt my family, you hurt my husband. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a brawl. And also, you're living in a neighborhood. Well, some people keep to themselves, and then you have people who are nosy like me, like, what's going on out there? Oh, they fighting. Hey, 911, these people are fighting in their yard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recognize the dude that they're fighting, but you know, because I live in
Yeah.
a neighborhood where the neighborhood watch was going since we moved in the neighborhood in 91. They had a neighborhood watch in the 90s. So you don't think people won't be nosy? Like, hey, they're fighting over there. That's
Mhm.
Mr. Smith. Let's go help Mr. Smith out. Call
Yeah.
911.
Right? There are a lot of references in this film. Like Manson and him having the family, and the family's the one who did his dirty work for him. And so
Mhm.
they thought Longlegs was doing the same thing, which it turned out, yes, he was. But like,
But with
how,
dolls.
but how do you guys feel about like all of these fun little references that they had throughout the film? Lisa?
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
It was fantastic. I
And then,
mean,
you had to think about the religious aspect too, like the book of Revelations and Genesis and all
mhm.
that. And I was like, I don't remember that. What's going on? I have to sit there and like,
Yeah.
tick, 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 tick.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
they were actually pretty spot on with a lot of the Revelation
Yes.
Yeah.
references. Trying to think of what else we were. We talked about all sorts of things.
Okay, so who made that phone call to Lee about you're gonna miss the birthday party? Who made that phone call?
That was
Was that her mother?
Cobble. No, it was Cobble.
But wasn't he dead?
Yeah.
So his spirit's like, hey, you're gonna miss birthday party. Why would you compelled to go to this birthday party from a voice of a man who dead?
Because that was the hint that that's where the mom was.
I know, but still at the same time, I'd be like, you're dead. I don't
Right?
really want to deal with this. But I'm gonna have to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
What about those little flashes in the background? Did you guys see those? Baphomet and all that in the windows every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic.
Yeah. Honestly, like the visual work was fantastic in this film. Definitely fantastic. Did you guys think it was weird how the boss was getting almost pissed off at Lee because of everything that was happening with the case?
Yes. It was like he was blaming her.
Exactly. And I'm like, why? First of all, you wanted to solve the case.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, you, her boss, brought her onto the case after you had another agent say, are you sure you want to bring her on? So why are you mad? And why are you taking it out on the one person who didn't choose this? Because you're her boss and you told her she would need to be on this.
Because in a way, it shows that, they're not. It took them years to figure this out. What it took her, a matter of hours and days?
Hours, yeah.
So that has to be like ego busted there.
Ego.
Yeah, ego.
But still, why was he targeting it at her?
Because
when he asked her to do what she was doing.
Maybe like because she was a female and she one-upped him. Nah, I don't know. I was thinking about the time period.
Time period, yeah, that would make sense, but the character didn't give off any of those vibes in any other part of the film. So that's why I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
True. Maybe Karen's right. Ego. He wanted to solve it, and it took her seconds.
But like, he's still the lead on it.
Yeah, he'll still be a lead. He'll still get the credit for it, but at the same time, you have like other FBI agents on this case. This case is colder than dirt, and then here she comes, puts everything out,
and solves it.
But to me, it's like almost getting mad at somebody for bringing you coffee after you asked them to bring you coffee. You know what I mean? Like, he asked her to help solve the case. He asked her to look at things and put things together and tell him what she found. She did just that. And he's getting mad at her. And I'm like, I can understand being frustrated.
Yeah.
I can understand, having a bruised ego. But you literally asked this girl to do exactly what she did. Why are you being a jerk to her? Now, I can understand him being pissed that she didn't tell him about the letter that she got.
Oh, of course.
I could understand him being pissed about her not disclosing stuff about her mom. I can understand him being frustrated about a number of other things. But what he was harping on her about, I'm sorry, dude. You literally asked her to do that. You can't be mad at her for doing what you verbatim said, I need you to do this. And like I said, if he said, hey, bring me a cup of black coffee, and she brings him a cup of black coffee, and then he gets mad at her, what sense does that make?
None.
Yeah. And I think, what else was there?
I'm looking at Reddit for the Long Legs movie. There's like a whole bunch of theories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the list of theories is insane.
Some people have watched it like 4 times.
Wow.
I won't go that far. I saw it twice.
Oh, I'm definitely getting the DVD and I'll rewatch it a couple times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this will definitely be a purchased rewatch for me because it is quite enjoyable. What are you finding, Karen?
Oh, okay, so somebody was talking about the timeline. I think I understand the timeline,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
But one of the theories about like when Cobble died, one of the theories is that his spirit or whatever was possessing Cobble went into the mom. That's why she was acting erratic. Because she said something, or he said something, or she said, "I'm a friend of a friend." And then when she dies, the theory is that whatever was possessing her mom went into Lee. And that's the reason why, she took Ruby with her because they were
And
going to
didn't
continue.
break the doll.
Huh?
And didn't break the doll.
Yeah. But my first action would have broke the doll anyways. Me.
Oh, yeah.
Personally. I'm like,
I would have walked into that house, saw that doll, and pew pew, right then and there.
Exactly.
Took it, smashed its head against the ground, the wall.
Yeah, whatever you could do to break it.
Yeah.
Like, that's a cute doll. Like, mother, what are you doing here?
Excuse me, while I set it ablaze after I broke its head off.
Like, I'm sorry, Ruby, I'll get you another gift. Where's your friends? Isn't this supposed to be a birthday party? Where's your friends?
And I know I'm late, so yeah.
I mean, she said a party, and I'm thinking, oh, she wouldn't do anything at a party, would she?
Right. Exactly.
Right?
So was the party before, after, or did this got canceled and it was just going to be them?
I'm wondering if she was early for the party. Like, the party hadn't gotten started yet. And that they were going to start the party early, so
when the guest comes, they'd be like, oh no, they all died.
Yeah, guests get there and they're like, oh my God, they're dead.
So
exactly.
So that, begs a question. How long was Lee out for?
Wasn't it like an overnight? And she woke up like the next day kind of thing?
See, at that point, if it was the next day, I still, as the FBI, head of FBI, where's my agents?
Exactly.
Right? And I'm wondering if maybe that was going on and we just didn't know.
I would have still sent somebody to go check out the house.
But what if they didn't know that that's where they were at? Because Lee wasn't staying at her mom's. Lee had her own residence. And then the other agent had her own residence. So they would have gone to their residences first. They wouldn't have gone to Lee's mom's house.
That'll be my next thing is like, well, if she's not here, then she might be at her mom's house.
Right.
Not necessarily. I mean, other than her boss, most of them didn't know that she had a close relationship with her mom, it seemed like.
I mean,
like
his boss
even that other that other agent seemed like, oh, here, we'll drop you off so you can like grab your stuff. There's didn't seem to be like this is obviously someplace Lee would be.
Right.
True, but still at the same time, I'm like, my agents didn't show up.
They're not at the residences.
So let's go to Lee's parents' house, and let's go to my other parents' house, my other agent's parents' house. I don't know. I'm just a worrywart when it comes to things like that. I'm like,
that's fair.
Shouldn't she be back?
Right?
Yeah.
She said she was only gonna drop her off and then come back, right? Right?
Yeah. There's questions.
Lots of questions.
Why,
like, how did he make those metal balls?
Yeah.
Right? And how, like, the one guy said, yeah, I kept saying my ex-wife's name. But that couldn't be. Sir, it was, and you should be worried.
And how are the metal balls making that noise if there's no batteries? Right?
Voodoo. Magic.
Is it like, yeah, we popped it open, there was nothing in it.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do our final thoughts. Lisa, you want to start us off with the final thoughts?
Absolutely. I 100% recommend this. It's not really scary, it's creepy, but there are definitely a lot of questions. I think Nicolas Cage did a really good job. It wasn't him playing himself, which was good. It was nice and refreshing, and I'm proud of him. If you hear me, Nick, I'm proud of you. But it was definitely, I love the atmosphere. I love the effects. You really did feel really isolated the whole time, which I think added to the creepiness and the atmosphere. Just, I thought it was excellent. And are we rating it now?
Yeah. Yeah. How many stars?
I give it 4.5.
Okay. Karen, how about you?
I mean, I like the cinematography. I like the practical effects. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I would probably have to watch it again and start breaking it down to, where it's, I'm not going to do like a deep dive analysis of it, but it does deserve a rewatch or two just to figure out, to answer a lot of my questions that I have. I do like the whole feel of isolation. And I actually really enjoyed that they put it in the 90s because during that time period, not everyone was connected with each other. I mean, our cell phones connect to everybody. So you could have done a quick Google search, be like, where is my person at? Oh, they're at this at this place. Then that also begs the question, why do you have that person's location on? But, that's just me.
I don't know. I have a couple friends I share my location with.
But would you share it with your boss?
No.
So, so the whole isolation feel makes it even more worrying and terrifying. But unless you like the whole isolation, then you're okay. It's not scary at all. Creepy, not scary. I do like how Nicolas Cage brought an aspect of himself that you very rarely see. You got to see a side of him through his mother's eyes almost, or through his eyes, through his mother's eyes, if you want to say it, put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would actually I would watch it again. I'm not going to be like the whole watching it like Candyman, like I would do a deep dive on Candyman, because that's just a beautiful piece of work. um but I give it 3.5 stars just because I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Lots of questions.
I think overall, this is an extremely well made film. I think it is very obvious that each person who was associated with this film actually gave a shit and cared and wanted something good to come out of it. Um, the heart is definitely in this film. I think the story itself is a very intriguing story. And I think some of the questions may be in there for us because we're supposed to want to know the answer. We're supposed to want to do what we're doing now, going, I gotta know. Why? We need these answers. It keeps you talking, it keeps you thinking. And I do think that overall this film was made to put you on edge, but not push you over the edge. It always kind of made you wonder what was going to happen next. What else was going to happen around the corner? Would I say it's a 5? No, because some of those questions, if you wanted to have a full, well-rounded story, should have been answered. But overall, I think it was extremely well made. So I'm actually going to give it a 4.75. I think it's a little bit more than a 4.5, but it's obviously not a 5. But it's pretty close. Pretty damn close. So, listeners, our spooky little ghouls. Would you accept a free doll? Like, would you let a nun into your house and give you a free doll? Tell us. Tell us what you thought about this movie. You can find us on all of our social media, Instagram, TikTok, X, Threads, and our Facebook group, which is always hopping and popping. We love it in there. You can also subscribe and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts, such as Google, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. We are on the tube. But you can also follow us all individually. So, ladies, where can they find you? Lisa, you want to start us off?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, Threads, and now I am on TikTok.
Yay!
Yay! Thanks to the ladies, they talked me into it.
Hey, man, there's some awesome TikToks out there, man.
There are.
Yeah, there are.
Karen, where can they find you?
Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit.
Rock on. And you guys can find me, Shannon, at Spilled Tea Wine Media Mind on all the things. Before we go, thank you, listeners. Honestly, we couldn't do this without you. We always really appreciate you and you listening to us and your comments that you've left on the videos on YouTube and all the love you guys have been sending us. So please continue to like, share, subscribe. We really do appreciate it. So thank you so very much. So stay spooky, our lovely little ghouls.
And this has been the Spooky and Kooky Podcast of Earth Station Boo.